Sometimes size truly doesn't matter, and the best things come in small packages. To prove that, we have this token here to the micro art collection, where we're going to see some astoundingly small things.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
We're going to a place that you've never heard of before. It's abnormal voyages. You're gonna learn something new. We're gonna open new doors. It's abnormal voyages.
The Micro Masterpieces Gallery in St. Augustine, Florida is like nothing you've ever seen. Each art piece has a poster about it, but then to see the actual art, you have to look through the eyes of a microscope. Every single artwork here is microscopic, such as this one that happens to be a knight from a game of chess. The work of making such small pieces of art is so difficult that there are only 7 artists in the world who currently make these art pieces by hand. The owner of this art gallery is a massive fan of these little works of art and has amassed a collection of hundreds of them. However, only 30 are on display at a time and frequently switched out. This artwork already looks amazing, but even more so when you realize it was done on a canvas the size of a grain of rice. The paintings here are so small that artists will actually take a single hair off of a paintbrush and use that to delicately dab the coloring onto their paintings. Of course, besides the paintings, there's also little sculptures, such as this amazing one here, which is literally a line of elephants in the eye of a needle. This is a good chance for you to get to see the world's tiniest drug lord. There he is, smiling up at you. It's honestly incredible the level of detail that they're able to put into such a tiny portrait. They've taken some of the biggest figures, Michael Jackson, the king of pop, and made them into the smallest, tiniest of pictures. Incredible. Of course, when they do this work, they often have to use the microscope themselves, and here was a set of tools that shows you just how tiny the instruments are that help make these art pieces come to life. Personally, I'm a Sagittarius, so Scorpio doesn't do much for me, but I have to admit, this scorpion inside the eye of a needle was very cool. They did a great job of getting the pincers in there, the tail, even the little ribbing on the sides. Awesome. One of my favorite literary heroes, William Shakespeare, they had the smallest copy of his works here. Here's his book with William Shakespeare's comedies, histories, and tragedies, all in the eye of a needle. I know the earlier elephant art with all of them in a line was a little difficult to really focus on and see the details, so we bring you this one that has one elephant brilliantly shown. Yeah, there he is. Much better. This is one elephant in the room that nobody sees. I have to admit, this one had me a little stumped. It just kind of showed the world and then this really big gun. Maybe it's a political commentary, but either way, this was really neat looking in the inside of the needle, having the gun replicated there. Just not sure what it stands for. And right next to the gun, Lady Liberty herself, the Statue of Liberty in all her glory, and then in miniature form. See, look how cute she is. The coloring choices were interesting on this. A lot of that accent green instead of making her whole thing green. But I think it works. This is one of my favorite ones. I'm a little bird that hatched from an egg. And, just to prove it, here is said egg and bird hatching from the egg. A very well-known actor in his day as well as now, Charlie Chaplin, represented here as his famous character, the Little Tramp. Hard to believe that this is smaller than a fingernail. This art piece reminded you to follow your dreams, and hopefully for the girl in the picture, her dream was to be painted on an extremely small painting with her horse, because if so, she did follow her dreams. One of the iconic St. Augustine spots is, of course, the black and white lighthouse, and they had it replicated here in miniature form. There is the lighthouse, and though you can't quite tell it from this angle, the lighthouse was created on a fishing hook, which you can see right here. This one had me a little more lost. It was an explorer out in the jungles, and I'm guessing that this is supposed to be his train that got him around so he could have adventures. That's the best I could guess on the correlation there. Another iconic St. Augustine monument are, of course, the lions that stand guarding. And here is the coat of arms of St. Augustine, colorfully done and replicated in extremely small measure. Now, whenever anybody tells you that they're playing the world's smallest violin, you're just gonna have to assume this is the one they're talking about. It's so tiny, it fits in the eye of a needle. I don't think they get much smaller than that. Okay, here we go. Sagittarius. This is the best zodiac sign right here. And, appropriately so, there was an archer standing on a golden ball ready to shoot his arrow. A nice poster trying to tempt you to the desert. And along with that, a whole row of camels walking through a needle to find an oasis on the other side. Being in Florida, a nautical theme made a lot of sense for at least a few of these. So here we had a ship in a bottle, and then here was the actual ship, freed from the bottle and able to tackle the tiniest oceans out there. This was a colorful flock of parrots taking flight into the jungle. And, painted right here, was the tiniest parrot of the flock. He was the baby, but still very colorful. One of the most unusual ones, this was a gentleman flea. Here's his portrait, and then you could actually see him, and they had painted on not only a bow tie, but golden shoes onto his feet. It was a little difficult to see, but it's incredible that somebody took the time to add all these fancy details to Mr. Flea. Everybody loves bowling, even if it is in miniature form. And here's a look at the pins and the balls that would be used to play such a tiny game. I wonder if it's any easier to get a strike when they're this size. And to end the exhibits, a nice splash of color. Here was a canvas with all the little colors that they could use to make these amazing and wonderful works of art.
Well, overall, I think what this gallery can teach you is that no matter the size of your dreams, be they very, very large or really, really tiny, nothing is impossible. My name is David, and this has been Abnormal Voyages. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.